Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I will go ahead and call our regular town council meeting for the month of September to order while the bell dings and says we're right on time. I'll point out a couple quick things before I turn it over to Councilman Halter. Number one, I'd like everyone to welcome our new town administrator, Scott Slatton. We're very excited for Scott to join us. Appreciate you being here. And then also, if you see some balloons up to your front right, want to recognize that tomorrow is our attorney's birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Parker. Okay, 39th birthday. Happy birthday. And with that, I'll turn it over to Councilman Halter for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
If I can have Corey Merritt, Oliver McNeil, and Ethan Woods to come up. On July 28th, engine 302 and ladder 302 responded to 103 Iron Drive to assist with locating an autistic 7-year-old child. The child had been missing for approximately 30 minutes before their response. Units arrived on the scene and met with Somerville PD. Thinking outside the box, Captain Merritt used his phone to see if he could locate the nearest body of water. They noticed a pool that was just a few houses down. The crews looked over the fence and noticed that the child was about to enter the water. Captain Merritt, Engineer McNeil, and Firefighter Woods saved the child just seconds before he entered the water. Had they not intervened when they did, the child may have drowned as he was unable to swim. If I can have Renee Rivers come up. Whereas more than 43 million Americans can't read or write at the most basic level, And while 62.7 million lack basic math skills, as well as the credentials and skills necessary to succeed in post-secondary education, and whereas adult education programs contribute to solving these challenges by helping Americans move along the continuum in their educational journey to achieve basic skills and get prepared for career in college. And whereas adult education and family literacy programs assist adults who are parents or family members in obtaining the education and skills that are necessary to become full partners in the educational development of their children. And whereas in 2023 to 2024, Dorchester County Adult Education served 472 adult learners, 58 earned a high school equivalency diploma, 15 earned a high school diploma, 72 English language learners completed skills, upgrades, and/or graduated with a high school credential. 4 met their family literacy goals. 22 met their workplace literacy goals. 46 obtained a workplace credential, and 500 digital literacy lessons were taught. And whereas the town of Somerville celebrates Adult Education and Family Literacy Week as a proud participant in the National Educate and Elevate campaign, which helps our citizens learn about all of their adult education options to attain their professional and personal goals. Now therefore does Russ Touchberry, Mayor of the town of Somerville, along with Town Council, hereby proclaim September 16th through the 20th, 2024 as Adult Education and Family Literacy Week. If I can have Ms. Peg and the ARC staff and board members come up. Whereas the ARC of South Carolina, a beacon of hope and support for the residents of Somerville living with Alzheimer's disease and related dementias, has dedicated itself to improving the quality of life for those affected by these challenging conditions. And whereas on August 24th, 2024, the ARC marked their 25th year of the Race for the ARC fundraiser run. And whereas the Race for the ARC has grown from a modest event into a cherished tradition that has fostered a spirit of collaboration, compassion, and commitment among participants, volunteers, sponsors, and supporters. And whereas the extraordinary efforts of countless individuals have turned this annual event into a powerful force for positive change, raising funds that directly enhance the ARC's programs and services, providing crucial resources for families, and advancing the fight against Alzheimer's disease. And whereas the 25th anniversary of the Race for the ARC stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of our community, the strength of collective action, and the unwavering dedication to improving lives through research, education, and compassionate care. Now therefore does Russ Touchberry, Mayor of the town of Somerville, along with Town Council, do hereby honor the ARC of South Carolina for hosting their 25th anniversary of the Race for the ARC. Next, we have a special presentation from the Dorchester Heritage Center.
Mayor Touchberry, members of the Town Council, thank you for allowing me to come here tonight. My name is Phyllis Hughes, and I represent the Dorchester Heritage Center. And I came here tonight. Beth, would you mind putting the picture up for me? Thank you. I'm here tonight to tell you that, and you may already be aware, that the Dorchester Heritage Center is hosting the wall that heals. That is a replica of the Vietnam Wall. It's the largest traveling wall, a replica in the United States, and it does travel around the United States. And out of 88 applications, the Heritage Center was chosen one of 31. So we're very proud to host it. It will be in Dorchester County from October the 17th through the 20th, open to the public. But what I came here tonight to talk with you about is the 15th, when it arrives in our county, it will be escorted down from our end of the county, where it's going to be set up for the next 5 days through the Somerville area. A map is being drawn right now by Deputy Sheriff Sam Richardson and also the Patriot Guard. They will escort that truck. Once it comes into the county, it has to be escorted. The panels that this truck carries are considered to be hallowed ground. And it will be escorted through the county, and a map will be given to all of you as soon as we get that clarified. And then also it will go back to the site. It will sit overnight. And then the next morning, the 16th, is when the wall will be erected. We have cadets coming from the Citadel to help us with that. But that is what I came really tonight to talk to you all about. We need your help to identify the Gold Star families in Somerville. If you'll look in your packet, I have the list of the names, and we need family or friends that would like to be there on the 16th. And when the panel comes out of the truck, they will have the opportunity to walk along beside it, behind it, or even help carry it to where it's going to be put up on the wall. So this is a very important thing. One of our young men from up in, that died from our end of the county is Fire Chief Ricky Jenkins' uncle. And his son is flying in on the 15th from Chicago to be here so he can walk beside his father's panel. So that's very special to me. Dorchester County has 17 KIAs on that wall. When the panels are put up on the wall, the truck that brings it in becomes an educational center. It will open up both wings. It will have a revolving screen that will be playing all of the men from our county, Charleston, Berkeley, Colleton, and Dorchester, all surrounding counties, and Orangeburg. Our area people will be playing that screen. So those are considered our fallen heroes. So I came here tonight. Your schedule, if you'll look at the schedule, there will be events at night. And every night we're going to we're not closing the wall, but every night at 6:45, we will play taps. And we will have an opening ceremony, an Agent Orange awareness night, and also the last night that is in Dorchester County will be a candlelight vigil so that we can send the wall on its way up in Georgia and pray for those on the wall, their families left behind, and all of our men that are serving today to keep us all where we can be here tonight. So I hope I can go over my 5 minutes.
You are just fine.
Take a note of this, because in the front cover, it tells you there are 58,281 names on that wall. Each panel weighs about 40 pounds, and there's about 800 names on. These were young men. The youngest one on that wall was 15 years old. And there are 43 sets of brothers, and there are 3 sets of fathers and sons. So it is time for us to remember that those veterans that fought in that war, because when they came home, they were never welcomed home. And that's what we intend to do the day that truck rolls into our property. So I want to invite all of you to come. I do want you to know this. People are already making reservations. They'll be coming into Somerville. They're already making reservations at Oscars in groups. So we're expecting between 8,000 and 10,000 people to come from all over to see this wall. So I just wanted to mention that it will be a benefit to your town as well. So I welcome all of you to come. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. And my card is right there in your folder. Feel free to call me. Russ, do you mind if I call the names out of the ones from Somerville to see if anyone in the audience could possibly
No, please.
know who that is? Do you mind?
No, go right ahead.
It's Jack Williams Brasington, William Ellis Jr., Jerry Truman Driggers, John Lester Hines, Thomas Wyatt Poor, Gary Kenneth Roberts, Hilbert Marion Singletary Jr., William Thomas Smith, and Larry Villanueva, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. These are all 20-year-old men that lost their lives in Vietnam, and we would certainly like to have their families or friends be there the day their panel comes out the truck. I thank you for allowing me to come, Russ.
No, thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Hughes. We
so much.
appreciate what you're doing.
I think I dropped your pen and I don't see it. It must have went under the thing. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. They might need.
Next is approval of minutes of previous meetings.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of items A and B, the town council meeting August 15th, 2024, and the standing committee meetings of September 9th, 2024.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor, I do not have any public comment for items on the September 12th agenda. I also do not have any petitions or pending bills and resolutions. So next is introduction of bills and resolutions, the resolution adopting an employee handbook.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the resolution to adopt the employee handbook.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First reading of an ordinance to amend the ordinances of the town of Somerville, chapter 18, article 1, by adding a new section 18-1 to prohibit smoking and vaping in town-owned recreational facilities, parks, playgrounds, and public areas.
Mr. Mayor, I move for first reading of the ordinance.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for first reading of the ordinance. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to make sure that where it says "and public areas," that we would add that it would prohibit smoking and vaping during all special events downtown, sort of like Third Thursday, Saturday Market, the Flower Town Festival. And I understand that we'll probably have to have designated smoking areas for that time, but I'd like to see that amended to read that.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, it's a good thing that I think we're passing this, but I think we need to have some penalty for those who violate the ordinance that we're passing.
Okay. Mr. Parker, I see you rising.
Yes, sir. Councilman Brown, I think it's ordinance section 1-8 is fine for penalty for the violation of any ordinance. I can certainly add it in there if you'd like, but there is a penalty.
Mr. Parker, can you say what the penalty is?
30 days in or $500.
Thank you.
Council members, any other discussion? We may need an amended motion if we're going to add any content to the ordinance.
I'll make a motion that we accept the amendment as proposed.
Okay, I have a motion to amend as proposed to include special events,
And second,
and we have a second. All right. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Now we need to vote on the original. All
Aye.
those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First reading of an ordinance to rezone TMS numbers 14507055055, located at 122 Pebbles Lane, totaling approximately 4.67 acres and owned by Pebbles Brunson from GR5 General Residential, 5 units per acre, to AC Agricultural Conservation. This is in Council District 3.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept the rezoning of 122 Pebbles.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First reading of an ordinance to rezone a portion of TMS number 13611070025 located at White Boulevard totaling approximately 0.07 acres and owned by Richard G. and Leah Shope from GR5 to PUD, and a portion of TMS number 136110740 located at 119 Pamela Lane totaling approximately 0.03 acres and owned by Stephanie L. Bates from PUD to GR5 to allow a land swap, and this is in Council District 1.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the rezoning of was it White Boulevard and Pamela Lane?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First reading of an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 13, Section 3.1, subsection O, to delete the town's indemnification clause.
Mr. Mayor, I move for first reading of the ordinance to amend.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First reading of an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 13, Sections 4.1 and 7.2G, so as to correct an error that the appeal of a denial of a building permit shall be taken to the Master of Equity and provide that an appeal shall be taken to the Circuit Court.
I move for first reading of the ordinance to amend.
That we approve this.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion and a second by Mr. Waring. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Under miscellaneous, consideration of town-owned property for temporary debris site location.
Council members?
We talked about this the other night, at the Public Works Committee meeting, of course, and, I think this was, it's a much needed thing that we need this for the town, for our post-storm disasters areas as a laydown area for debris as it's coming in. In the aftermath of a hurricane or ice storm or something along those lines that we've experienced in the past. I'm not opposed to the location. I think it's, 99% of the time, knock on wood, and because Lord fares our way, then we never use this site, but, it's still, I think it's a good idea for us to be prepared. I thought it'd be good for us to discuss it as a whole council the other night, so I made the motion for it to come up here for us to discuss. I'm interested in other feedback y'all have.
And Mr. Mayor, I would say that we looked at another site a few years back, and it was going to cost us money actually to buy that site and to put a road out there with a pad, and it was going to cost a lot more money. This is land that we own, and it's right in the town. That other section area was going to be out of town, at least 25 minutes up the road. And so this just looks like an ideal site for us to do this, and having it right in the middle of the town, I think that it really is good for us.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may just add, if we do approve us, this is a site, I would just add that before we move with clearing the property to make for a laydown area, that we be presented some type of site plan to what we're looking at. I think some buffers there would be nice to maintain if possible for the neighboring areas that are around it. I think there's some residential areas in the spot that might be nice for the, kind of maintain that buffer zone. How many acres is it on? Yeah, 8 acres. So we should be okay.
Well, I'll say Hurricane Matthew back in 2016 created a lot of debris. And we were fortunate at that time, there was a road construction project, the Nexton Parkway interchange and North Maple Street extension that provided the laydown yard And it was mounted up pretty good over there. So good to have it close by and on property we own. So does staff need any vote on this or just that direction? Just to bring a site plan back before us when it's time? Is that all we need?
Once you get a motion in, motion second.
Okay.
Just.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go forward with this and staff would do some more research as far
Second.
as having a buffer.
All right. Yes, sir.
Sure.
I think at the, standing committee meeting, it's also talking about, we need to make sure we have correct, property lines and might need to survey at that site. So we aren't trespassing on the.
And we can include that. Mr. Mayor, we can include that as a part of our presentation and the review and the site plan recommendation that we'll make and bring back to you. So we'll make sure that happens as well.
Very good. Thank you for pointing that out. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Oh, yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Sorry to be late discussion. I know this area is currently in the town of Somerville, but as good neighbors, should we reach out to the town of Lincolnville and let them know that this is what we're thinking?
I'm sure Mayor Dickerson would appreciate that. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Consideration of a request from Somerville Dream to close West Richardson from Cedar to Main Street for the Sweet Tea Festival.
We have a little bit more information on this.
Yeah, let's make a motion first. Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept Dream's request to close West Richardson from Cedar to Maine for the Sweet Tea Festival.
Okay.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the request. Any discussion?
We have a little more
Yeah,
information.
please.
Would you like to be presented this by Steve with Dream or I know he is in the audience. Come on up, Steve.
Thank you for the consideration and for the continued support of everything we're working together on. Sweet Tea Festival hosts an average about 18,000 people annually. And we know that number to be relatively close because we geo-fence the area we're counting. So it's not just, we're trying to give the best data out there. This year, we're faced with a little bit more of a challenge with the construction happening at 118 West Richardson. It closes that entire sidewalk for access to Short Central to those businesses. So last year, where we had it within the standards that are presented, were West Richardson traveling east to Central, so you can make that right-hand turn to use the garage, was available. We staffed it. The police did an excellent job of trying to control that traffic. We also noticed that regardless of the sidewalk being open or closed, we still had people meandering into the street. So we're being much more hypersensitive about that. And we had a plan put in place for this year for additional staff to help mitigate that. What we're asking for is again, for safety concerns, allowing the traffic to flow both north and south on the adjoining streets, having those other cross areas available. And this is something we've done many years ago. We're the first organization to provide this. Worked with all our community partners. We have agreement from the property owner for so the garage will be accessible as you exit the garage to make a U-turn over there by what would be Fort Green Fields, and they could exit out of there. We have barricade plans for there, and we've worked with police on making sure that we have that well staffed so that we can do that safely. We've also looked at this in quite a bit of ways to say that we want to make sure that the parking garage is available as long as it can be. The festival starts at 2:00, so it's after the farmer's market that we're managed as well. And with all our street closing earlier that we typically do for like a third Thursday, we have that scheduled to happen earlier. We will close, we're looking for this section from Central to Cedar to be closed at 1:30. We will put no vendors over there. We're not putting food trucks over there. But we just want it for safety purposes so that people can flow in and out without any encumbrances or having some, cars or being more challenging. And again, not having the sidewalk there to direct them down Short Central makes it a lot more inconvenient or safety concerns. We reviewed this with Superintendent Evans and with some of our police staff as well, and with our merchants.
Council members?
Not a question, Steve, more of a comment. I don't think there's a good answer for this over there right now with the situation we got going on, other than we want to get the jobs done over there. And I know there's been a lot of discussion just from the business owners in the area anyway, with the construction going on. I just, I'm never crazy about shutting that block between Short Central and West and Cedar, just because of the access to the parking garage. Trying to make a left out of the parking garage and into the behind the Short Central businesses, that's a hairpin turn, so it's a challenge there. But I spoke to Chief Wright as well. I mean, there isn't a beautiful answer for this, other than, it's going to be an inconvenience if you're coming out of the parking garage this year, and and hopefully it doesn't inconvenience the business owners over there either. I do have one question. Are we gonna have parking? Will they be parking beside the Fort Green Fields in that alley when you start? There's about 4 or 5 parking places right there.
Well, that's a great question. When we've done these in years past and we worked with the property owners, we barricade that parking, so there's no cars parking in there. So that, you're right, that
Little
U-turn can be, it's not eloquent in any way,
Mhm.
but we've been able to structure that. So we're gonna bring them around so they have plenty of room and there won't be any cars parked in that lot.
Okay.
And let me just ask one other question. Forgive me if you mentioned this already. Is there going to be large enough signs so when people do exit, they know that they're only making that left?
Correct.
And
We're
what
making the
direction to
additional,
go.
correct. So we're making the additional investment in signage.
Okay.
And it might be kind of gauche when you look at it, but it's actually going to be, we want a real presence out there to make sure that we're putting a signage there. We're actually also investing in signage for the other side of the parking lot. This is one way only, because we have a lot of traffic that will want to come in and go around. I'm kind of turning myself around, wants to travel north in the parking lot and come around the other way. That's a one-way spot anyways, and we have issues with that every day, but we're going to work on that as well and at least put signage over there and try and mitigate that as well. Our goal is 100% safety, and this is, it's not, again, there's not another benefit for the organization. And it is something, when I'm representing this, I want to be clear also, and I think everybody on the dais understands, this is coming from our community partners. We're doing these events for our merchants and things, and this has come directly from a request from them for consideration.
And the only other thing I would add is for a full-blown blitz of information ahead of the festival, to let everyone know, let as many people possible know that the garage, will be an exit only on the Short Central side. So, and some advertisement to show where there is additional parking, in the bank parking lot and whatnot, so people know where to park ahead of time.
Councilman, we more than respect that, and you'll see a barrage of, with your approval, if that comes across, you'll see that in all our advertisements, and we want to highlight that. And then the fact is that this is a small thing, but it's a real thing. The parking garage lends itself for handicap parking, it lends itself for a lot of things, and so our goal is to make sure that garage is available for the entire day. And that's why we've changed the hours of the event. That's why we're doing the things we're doing, so it is available, and we will highlight that. Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? I feel like my largest concerns were related to that hairpin turn. Number one, of course, pedestrian safety is paramount, but having additional folks directing traffic would be extremely important along Main Street as well, the intersection of, I guess, Second and Main, as well as on the Cedar/Central side, to make sure that once the road gets blocked, they can get out of there, so they don't take initiative on their own. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? One opposing. One opposing. The ayes have it.
Approval of the site plan for Oak Brook Middle School addition, zoned PL.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move for approval of the site plan for Oak Brook Middle.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Mr. Mayor, I do not have anybody signed up for public comment.
Mr. Mayor, I move we enter executive session to discuss legal matters, legal advice on Scott Tyler versus the town of Somerville.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into executive session to receive legal advice on the Scott Tyler versus Town of Sum. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are in executive session.